redheads who had not eaten a carb in a really long time. Let's be honest, who here is hurting right now? Who had a little too much Chardonnay? Right? Okay. All right. Hey, this is the first time I've ever spoken on another continent before. That feels exciting. I don't even want to think about what time it is where I live, because then I'll just lay down and cry on this stage. But I'm going to tell you what, if I can have the energy that I'm going to bring to this room right now, on a totally different time zone, I'm going to ask you to do the same. Come on. Come on. So I'm going to ask you a couple of things of you today. One is that, it's that you keep your energy up, no matter how tired you are, no matter how late you danced with the disco ball guy last night. I'm going to ask you to keep your energy up. The second thing I'm going to ask you to do is, okay, forgive me, because this is very, I don't know if you do this at churches here, but where I come from, my daddy was a preacher, and where I come from, my family is Southern, and when a preacher talks to the audience, they respond. Do we do that here? Does that happen? Any, can I get a witness? No? I don't know if you're residents, but I want you to pretend, because if you don't respond to me, I think there's, been a carbon monoxide accident and we've lost you. So I need you to respond. The other reason I need you to respond is because I can stand up here and I can give a very generic speech about chasing your dreams and believing in yourself, or I can speak to you specifically. Not you, I mean in general. I can give a talk on what you need to hear, but only if you tell me what you need to hear. Does that make sense? Awesome. So, infinite possibilities. Infinite possibilities. I feel like that's one of those things that we hear, and it can kind of become just something that's beautiful on the wall, and maybe you got it on a tote bag that you get to take home with you. But the idea of infinite possibilities means that you believe anything is possible. Means that you believe you are capable of anything. So it would be really easy for me to stand here and talk about believing in yourself. But you all know you're supposed to believe in yourself. What I think is more powerful today is if we get into the reasons why you don't believe in yourself. If we land in the idea of what are the limiting beliefs that keep you from going to the next level, that keep you from building your teams, that keep you from increasing your revenue, that keep you from getting the Mercedes. That's a thing, right? I'm not, sorry. Where I work, we don't give out cars. Right? So you have all these ideas for yourself and for your life, and not just professionally, but personally. Anyone want to challenge themselves physically, want to run a marathon, want to get in shape, want to do this kind of, right? Okay. Anyone here want to increase their revenue? Right? As a team, want to make it bigger, want to take their family on a vacation they've never been able to do before, right? So why haven't you? Here's the deal. It's a good product, right? Yeah. Okay, you believe in the product, it's a good product. So why aren't you selling more of it? Okay, and here's the thing. This is a really powerful conversation if you can be real with me right now. If you can talk about what are the things, what are the psychological things that are holding you back from becoming the person you want to become. So shout them out at me. Someone says no. Oh, well, we know how important other people's opinions are, so we should definitely listen to that. Now, just out of curiosity, is it someone in your life says no, or someone that you're asking for business says no? Both. All right, let's dig in. So let's you asking for business and someone saying that they're not interested. Have you ever been offered a product that you said no to?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you said no because you hated the salesperson? That was it, right? You said no because you thought they were a terrible mom. You didn't like the way they dressed. Like, I can tell you're horrible. Or did you say no because it wasn't the right time? Didn't have the finances? Weren't interested in that particular product? Any of this resonating? These are the reasons that why we say no to other people, correct?
Yeah.
So that's why you say no. But when someone says no to you, it's because they hate you. Man, let's start right here, everybody. You're gonna hear no. Over and over and over, you're gonna hear no. And it has nothing to do with you. It's not about you as a salesperson. It's not about you as a human. It's just no. I am a living, breathing example of someone, this sounds super obnoxious, I'm very successful. I am. Thank you. I'm very successful. And I had to identify, years ago when I started speaking on stages like this, I would get questions like the 30 under 30 thing, that was a huge deal. And people would ask me, I'd go to speeches, we do a Q&A, and they'd say, what's the secret to your success? Like, precious. That I'm supposed to answer that for you in a 2-minute answer. But they'd say, what's the secret to your success? And I was like, dang, I gotta come up with something. Because like work hard or show up for your life or have courage, that doesn't mean anything. I personally hate when people get on a stage and they give you these generic platitudes and you're like, dude, tell me what work hard looks like for you. So for me, I was like, I gotta figure out why I have been successful. And I went through all the things like, why is it that there are women and men, frankly, who have wanted to have a career like I have, but they're not experiencing the same success that I am? And one day it hit me like a lightning bolt. It is because when other people heard no, they listened. When I heard no, I just thought that's how life was. I was ready for it. I grew up in a super horrible childhood, incredibly traumatic, verbally abusive parents, and bad stuff. So anyone else have the courage to say you grew up in something similar? Right. So as far as we're concerned, life has been telling us no since the day we were born. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it never occurred to me that there would be an easy yes. So every time I got a no, I was like, well, all right, well, just gonna keep on trucking, just gonna keep trying. Every single time I couldn't get through the front door, I tried to break in a window. And if I couldn't get in a window, I tried to shimmy down the fireplace. I just kept going. I just kept putting one foot in front of the other. And so I'm gonna challenge you right now, because I know we have a lot of newbies in this room. Who are the new, this is the first time here? First of all, congratulations for having the courage to show up. It's not easy to be the new kid. So good for you for challenging yourself. Buckle up. Because it is so easy to come to this and be filled with energy and life, and you're hanging out with people, and you're, getting to take pictures with that golden Buddha or whatever. You're living your best life, and you're like, I am so on fire. Anyone so on fire, ready to go crush it? Great. You get to go home now, where there's a laundry and bills and children. Anyone have children? They're the worst, right? I love it. It's like, who's new? And you're like, yeah. And I'm like, who has kids? You're like, woo. I have 4. I know. Guys, you're gonna go back to your life. And you're not gonna have the energy in this room, and you're not gonna have a fog machine and lasers and those girls in fancy dresses playing violin. They're not gonna be there on Monday. You can listen to all the podcasts. You can come to all the conferences. You can arm yourself with information. But it's not about what you know. It's about what you do. Every single day. Over and over and over. If I'm successful for any reason, it's because I heard no and I kept going. Everyone knows me now. I'm in the UK because I had this book come out that has been really successful. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, what does it feel like to be an overnight success? I'm like, are you kidding me? Yes, thank you. Shout out to the one girl who has the copy. I love that she's like famous. Just take a lap. Yeah. People are like, what does it feel like to be an overnight success? I'm like, this is my 6th book. This is my 6th book. 2 days ago, I got a call from the publisher. In 7 months, this has sold 1 million copies. I don't say that to be fancy. I say that because I want you to understand this. I have a high school diploma. 10 years ago, I was a blogger making casserole recipes with 2 little kids. And I just kept showing up for my life. Every single day. I decided that nobody was going to get to tell me how big I got to dream. I was going to find a way. I was going to wake up before my babies got up, and I was going to stay up after they went to bed, and I was going to keep working on the thing I wanted for my life. Overnight success is not a real thing. You will see the people on this stage, and they're getting awards, and they're driving those fancy cars, and where's Stewie? Is he here? Oh my. Congratulations to you on your Instagram, sir. I just dug right into that. I was like, this guy's gonna show me what this is all about. But here's the deal. You're gonna look at Stewie's life, or my life, or other VP's lives, and it's gonna be really easy to compare your beginning with our middle. Right? Because every time we feel insecure, our natural inclination is to look outside of ourselves to see how we're doing. Anyone do that? Anyone compare? Anyone comparing this weekend? You already have that negative self-talk in the back of your mind telling you all the ways you're never going to be like Stewie because you don't own those suits or those dogs. But also because you've already got the reasons that you're going to fail. Anyone? Be honest. Yeah. Here's the deal. Don't compare your beginning with my middle. Don't compare what is a decade of work. Do you know how many publishers turned down my books? I love the J.K. Rowling thing. I'm not Harry Potter, but do you know that every publisher, if you've read the book, you know every publisher literally in the world told me that nobody would buy my first book. And the day I got the call that the very last publisher turned it down, I closed myself in my bathroom and I sobbed. Like from my soul. Like my dreams are dead. Because I had told myself if I just have the courage to finish, if I just have the courage to try, if I just have the courage to push myself to go to the conference, if I just do this thing, then it'll all work out. And then everybody hated it. And I cried and cried on that bathroom floor, and then I stood up, and I went to my kitchen, and I poured a glass of wine, because it solves everything. And I Googled, how do you self-publish a book? Because nobody gets to tell you how big your dreams can be. And I published that book, and one person read it, and then another person read it, and they passed it around and gave it to different people, and it started to grow like a snowball, and it became a bestseller as a self-published book. And 6 months later, a publisher called, and they were like, dude, we don't know what you're doing, but we want to buy this book from you, and we want to turn it into a series. And it launched my publishing career. And you have to understand that every expert, not your sister, not your mom, literally every expert in the publishing field told me that nobody would read my work. And if I had listened to every expert in the field, it would still be sitting on my computer. Nobody gets to tell you what you can have. They can talk. They can talk all day, but you get to decide right now if you're going to listen. Which brings us to the second favorite no. That's from all the people you actually know. Who is here right now and there are people in your life that are judging you for being here? Oh, look at that. Raise your hand if those people who are judging you for being here have ever actually been here. Oh, right. They have no idea what you're doing or why you're doing it, but they are speaking negativity into your life because of their own fear or their own insecurity or because they're trying to protect you or whatever the reason is. Here's the deal. Mediocre will always try and drag you back down to mediocre with them. That voice of authority in our life has been around since we were little. And it's so hard to step out from under the oppression of other people's opinions, right? Because why? Why do we care? Shout it at me. Why do we care what they say? You want to be liked. Oh my gosh. I need 4 hours and a therapy session with you. I get it. I get it. I, for years and years, lived a very small life because when I was fully myself, it made other people uncomfortable. For years, I had this blog. I started a blog back in 2008, which is, people say now, like, oh, how can I start a blog? And I'm like, well, build a time machine, go back. So I started a blog in 2008, and I did really well with it. I had a staff of 5. We were working with some of the biggest brands in the world. And when I would go to parties, I would, with my husband specifically, because he had a very big job, and people would ask me what I did, and I would say, oh, I just have this little blog. It's just this little hobby. I make 6 figures a year, but it's just this little thing. Anyone in here tell people that this is just your little hobby? It's your side hustle? It's just this little thing I do. You even tell yourself that. Because if you fully own what it is you truly want for your life, then you have to hold yourself accountable, right? If you can just say it's this little thing that you do on the side, then you can fit it into other people's expectations, like your partner or your mother-in-law. Are mother-in-laws as terrible here as they are in the US? Yeah? Okay, great. So you want to be liked. Well, do you want to be liked or do you want to be happy? Right, and what does happiness look like to you? I hear that. But do you understand that you got to experience last night because you put yourself out here, because you joined this community, because you came to a space like this, and all the bitter people who are judging you for being here right now don't get to experience disco ball, guys. They don't know what that's like. So what do you care? Look, they will keep controlling your life and your perception of yourself if you let them. You want to be liked, but you also don't want to be judged, right? Like, part of putting yourself out here is that you have got to ask people for business. Yes or no? Yes. But you don't want to bother them, right? You don't want to annoy them. You don't want to be that, like, creepy person that's on Facebook who's constantly talking about the same thing and everyone blocks you. You don't want to be that person, right? That's what you tell yourself, right? Why else? Why else? Why else don't we ask? Why else don't we push for business? Why else? Come on, British people. Fear. Fear, that's a good one, and that's very real. My favorite acronym for fear is false evidence appearing real. Ever heard that? There's also another one that says, F everything and run. I don't know if I'm allowed to cuss here, so I'm just gonna keep it PC. False evidence appearing real. You've already decided that you're gonna fail. You already know you're gonna fail. You already know they're gonna say no. You already know they don't wanna join your team. You already know. You know that you're gonna be embarrassed. You know that it's gonna suck. Anyone have this playing on a loop in their mind? You've already decided the answer. So you don't even try for the race. You don't even begin the race because you've already decided how it's going to end. Which gets you exactly nowhere. Look, guys, you can fight for what you want. You can fight for what you're hoping for. You can fight for a better life for your family. But it's going to take you going all in. It's going to take absolute certainty about what it is you are trying to build today. It's going to take total belief in yourself, and that means getting past all of the crap that keeps you from being who you want to be. So what's holding you back? Family. How so? You feel like you're losing a lot of people because of it. Explain that to me. It's okay, because here's the deal. There are other people in this room who feel the exact same way you do, and you have the courage to speak your truth. It's going to help them.
Woo! We love you, Stacy!
Yeah, so she said because she's decided to be the person she feels like she's called to be, people are falling out of her life because they don't like the new version of who she is. Can anyone else relate? Is it worth the death of who you feel like you're called to be in order to make other people happy or comfortable? No. And there's also seasons to this. So they may not be able to handle you right now in this season because it reminds them that they're not where they want to be, right? People who are growth-minded, who are working on themselves, never care that someone else is trying to grow themselves. It's only the people that are stunted, that are holding on to the past, that can't let go, that will judge you for trying to push yourself forward. Here's the other thing that I would challenge. What's your name? Stacy. It's worked before. This is your sister? She's manipulated you this way before. Yeah. So you have a lifetime of her manipulating you in this way, and it works. But, yeah. But not this time.
Woo!
Okay? One of the questions that I get asked a lot is, how do you change someone? How do you change a partner? How do you change a family member? I only know one way. A lot of people will tell you can't change someone. I disagree. But I only know one way, and that is you change yourself. You change yourself unapologetically. You change yourself wholeheartedly. And you don't change yourself, sorry, but wives do this quite a bit. They change something in themselves and they start to nag their partner. Come on. Stop drinking beer, go on a run. Come on, you can do better, come on. They turn into a shrew and they think that that's going to make their partner want to change. When the truth is, the only thing that I know that motivates someone to change is you living your best freaking life unapologetically and them going, what's going on with Stacy? Why is she so on fire? Why doesn't she quit? I know in my own marriage, I had this situation with my husband. I was, years ago, having really bad anxiety attacks. Anybody get anxiety attacks here? So I was suffering from really bad anxiety, and I went to therapy because I did not want to keep in this space. I didn't want to deal with this forever and ever for the rest of my life. So I went to therapy, and that was great. And then I thought, what else is out there? What books can I read? What podcasts can I listen to? What videos can I watch to get stronger? What conferences can I go to encourage myself? And I started to change. And my husband hated it. Hated it. He thought it was all like snake oil salesmen. He thought it was all fake. He thought it was all, anyone in your life think this about the business that you do? And he openly disliked everything I was doing. And for the first time ever, I didn't care.
Woo!
For the first time ever, I just kept getting up at 5 a.m. For the first time ever, I just kept going to the conferences. For the first time ever, I just kept living into who I thought I was called to be. And the craziest thing happened. This man who was so anti-personal growth and personal development, about 6 months in, came to me one day and said, okay, I want to know. I'll go to a conference. I want to know. And if any of you follow us on social media, you know that Dave is like the most like cheerleader, rah-rah, everyone change your life, which is hilarious because years ago, he was not interested at all. The only way to change someone else is to change yourself. You are going to leave here, guys. You're going to leave here and you're going to have so much freaking momentum. And the greatest gift you can give yourself is to not let it go. Okay, so I want to teach you a trick. I want to teach you a way to motivate yourself when you don't feel like doing the thing, right? Because I get this question all the time, like, how do you self-motivate? How do you find the momentum? How do you... Look, motivation is not a magic pill that suddenly makes you want to do the things you don't want to do. Motivation is not like a special recipe that makes it so that you want to call 100 people or so that you want to go work out, right? Motivation is, can you create a habit that will give you the willpower to do the thing you don't want to do? Because guess what? You're never going to want to do the thing. You're never going to want to do the sucky thing. Okay, maybe there's like 4 people in here who are super in shape, you go to the gym all the time. You're here, and I don't like you, and I know that you're here. I hate working out every single time. Yes or no? Agree or disagree? Right? But how would you feel after you go? So it's about the willpower to force yourself to do the thing you don't really want to do. One of my favorite TED Talks, and I would encourage everyone to watch it before you leave here today, is by Mel Robbins. Have you guys ever seen her speak? Yes, we love her. So she has the 5-second rule. Do you guys know the 5-second rule? And I love this because I incorporated it into my life, but in a very specific way. And I'm going to teach that to you now. So what I like to do is I like to count down from 5. If you're not familiar with Mel, you can read her book or go watch this TED Talk, but the idea is that you count down from 5, and then when you get to 1, whatever it is you said you were gonna do, you make yourself do the thing. You make yourself pick up the phone. You make yourself send the email. You make yourself put on your workout shoes. You make yourself, no matter what, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you do it, okay? So we're gonna practice it today. And I don't know how you're gonna feel about it, but get ready. So I'm gonna ask you to put your journals or your books or your what, put it down. And I'm gonna count down from 5. And when I get to 1, you're gonna dance like your life depends on it. And I'm gonna challenge you right now to not let me leave the United Kingdom with an opinion about British people that you're subdued. I saw those pictures. I know you have it in your heart. We're gonna count down, you're gonna jump up, and you're going to remember this the next time you don't wanna do something. Because I'll tell you this trick. The greatest way to change the way they're feeling is to move your body. To move your body, to keep your body moving, if you're nervous, if you're scared, if you're anxious, if any of these things are happening, if you move your body, it will change your state, which changes everything. So when you go back, I want you to remember this idea. Are you ready? All right. So I'm going to count down, and we're going to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. From this state right now, you should pick up the phone and call someone. From this state right now, do you feel capable of more than you did 10 minutes ago? You can motivate yourself to do anything. You just gotta force your own hand. I need a drink of water. Did anyone else who has given birth to children maybe pee their pants a little bit? The guys in the room were like, oh my God. Guys, success is choosing what you want most instead of what you want now. What you want now is to watch Netflix. What you want now is to sleep in. What you want now is to hit the snooze button. What you want now is to have a glass of wine instead of sitting at your computer and doing the work. The question is not what do you want now, it's what do you want most. What do you want most? I love it. Success, freedom.
Success.
Money. Heck yeah, me too. Happiness. Okay, oh, dang it, I always talk too long and I run out of time. This is really powerful. I want you guys to meditate with me for a second. And there's a golden Buddha, so I feel like this won't freak you out. Anyone ever meditated? If you haven't, think of it like guided prayer. But here's the deal. I think it's impossible to know where it is you want to go if you haven't actually ever envisioned what that looks like in detail. Okay? So, everybody close your eyes. Put your notebook down, get comfortable, close your eyes. And first, and music friends, if you got some like jazzy, moody something to play underneath this, great. If not, we're gonna go silent. They hate me right now, by the way. Okay, so here's where we're gonna start. We're gonna start with gratitude. Because every good thing that I know of starts from a place of gratitude. So I want you, with your eyes closed, to think of an experience. Could be this moment right here, could be last night at the party, could be a great vacation that you took. I want you to think of an experience that you are deeply grateful for. And I want you to see it in detail. What did it look like to be there? How did it feel to be in that moment? Something you can feel deeply grateful for. Do you have it in your mind? Just sit in that moment of gratitude. Sit in what it is to be in this room with like-minded people who love and support you, with infinite possibilities stretching out in front of you. What a gift this moment is. Now I want you to think of a person that you can feel deeply grateful for. Maybe it's your partner or your best friend. I want you to imagine a very specific moment with them. The first time you held your baby against your chest, your wedding day, your best friend who always shows up for you. Can you see this person in your mind? Can you experience what it feels like to be loved by this person? Let that gratitude swell inside you. Let it get bigger. Now, I want you to think about the best version of yourself. If 10 years from now, a full decade goes by, and you are the best version of you, what does that look like? What does she act like? What kind of car does he drive? Where does he go to dinner? Be as specific as you can. As specific as you can. 10 years go by, you have lived out every vision, you have walked this runway, you have the white Mercedes, you are living your best life, you go on vacation every year, your kids don't have to pay for school. What does the best version of you look like a decade from now? In specific detail. Where are you going? Where are you headed? What is it that you want out of life? How do you love other people? How do they love you in return? What kind of clothes do you wear? Imagine as much detail as you can. Now open your eyes. Any of you imagine that person for the very first time? Be honest, it's okay. Lots of us don't go into detail about where we want to be a decade from now. Did any of you see things that would embarrass you if someone else knew what you wanted for your life? I love that she went like this. Wait, so you imagine the best version of yourself, and nobody in here, except for that sweet girl, would be embarrassed if other people know. Oh, you're not dreaming big enough. I said the best version of you. I said infinite possibilities. I said anything is possible, and you would feel super comfortable to tell everybody what you saw. This is the same group that raised their hand and said people were judging them. So that says to me that your best version of yourself still fits into what is comfortable for other people. The best version of me a decade from now is freaking crazy. Crazy. I have this journal that I write down every single day, these 10 dreams that I have for my life, every single day. And by the way, this is an incredible practice, is to take the vision that you just saw of yourself, and every single day write down 10 dreams that would make that future real if they were to come true. And here is the magic. I write them as if they've already happened. I write them as if they've already happened. I don't say, I want to start a nonprofit that gives $10 million a year to charities that I love. I say, I have a nonprofit that gives $10 million a year to charities that I love. I don't have a nonprofit, but I'm going to. I saw a lot of people, as I was scrolling Instagram, I saw a lot of people, and I'm gonna see this is a lot of our newbies, taking pictures with the Mercedes, and they would say, I'm gonna own this car one day. I'm gonna get this car one day. All your brain and your subconscious sees when you says that is, I'm going to. And you've made a million to-do lists in your life already. So I want to challenge you to see the future version of yourself, first of all, bigger, because it should be embarrassing. Like if someone finds your journal, they should be like, oh, Stacy done lost her mind. She is snorting something that she thinks she can have this, okay? I want to challenge you to write down these goals every single day as if they have already happened. I'm going to challenge you to know where it is you're trying to get to and what's keeping you from crossing the finish line. The other reason that we start with gratitude is from a place of gratitude, anything is possible. As you were focusing on the people that you loved or the experiences that you get to have, did you feel happier? Yes? Feel more joyful? Did you feel like things were more possible? Do you think that if you sat down every single time before you started your workday and you focus on the gratitude you have for this business, for every single step along the way, for every single client you have, for every single sponsor, for these kind of conferences, do you think if you started from a place of gratitude about this business that you've built, no matter where it is, do you think you would feel more capable of achieving more? Yeah. Do you think if you combine the idea of gratitude and dancing to Beyonce, or whatever your version of Beyonce is, do you think you'd feel more like making the calls? So tell me why you don't. Because I have 9 minutes left, and I do not want to leave here with anyone thinking, man, she talked about gratitude, and she talked about envisioning, and she talked to a few people, but dang it, that's not going to work for me because, ... Did you just raise your hand? Self-doubt. About what? That you're not good enough. Oh, dang it. This is like the thing that is crushing. I'm sure men feel like this too. But this is the thing that is crushing women everywhere. I'm not smart enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not strong enough. I'm not connected enough. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough resources. Is this anyone here? It's your personal brand of not enough. Here's the only thing that I know that steps in the way of not enough. And that is a truth. Where's my girl? I've lost her in the crowd. Okay, great. That is you. Okay. A truth that makes this feeling of not enough obsolete. So for me, for the longest time, my version of enough was, I'm not smart enough. So I somehow managed to build this really big company with a high school diploma and a Google search bar and just super hard work. But as it started to scale, and once we passed $1 million and then we kept going up, I started to freak out because there are people who count on me to lead them, who count on me to be able to pay their bills. Any of you building teams and sometimes go like, holy crap, I'm not capable of this. It's like when they give you your baby at the hospital and you're like, I'm sorry, I have to keep a human alive? So my version of not enough was that I wasn't smart enough to keep growing this thing that I wanted to grow. And here's the thing. Oftentimes enough for us, even if your friends would be like, oh my gosh, of course you're smart enough, of course you're this, of course you're that. For us, it's rooted in some version of truth, right? Like, people can tell you all day that you shouldn't care about that, but it doesn't matter. I believed that I wasn't smart enough, and that's the only thing that was holding me back. So here's my version that gets in the way of that. I had to find a thing that made this obsolete, and for me, that was, I've always figured it out. I've always figured it out. I have my entire life found a way. And if you are sitting here in this room right now, that means you have always figured it out, right? You had to work to get here, am I right? You had to not listen to the people who didn't want you to come. You had to drive or fly or get the hotel room. For some of you, was this the first time you've traveled? Anyone first time and it was scary? Oh, good for you, British people. We're so much more worldly than we are in the US. There's always like half the room is like, I've never been out of Milwaukee. I'm like, good for you. You have to find a truth that will speak in opposition to the lie, because it is a lie. You are enough, and it's holding you back. What's your particular brand of not enough? What? Not having a voice. What does that mean? Your laughter, what does that mean? Not having a voice, like not having a platform? What was that? Talking your truth. Look at you go! guys, these are lies that are doing nothing. They're not serving you. What are your versions of not enough? Or what's the lie right now? Don't deserve it. Oh. There's a hug from the stage. Sister. Anyone else feel like they don't deserve it? Why? Just her. You got it. You got it. What was that? Not good enough. Okay, I've got 3 minutes and 47 seconds to do this with you, sis. Now listen. This is something, this is one of the most powerful things I ever learned at a conference years ago. Which parent, we're gonna go here, which parent did you crave love from most? Not who did you love most, who did you crave love from most? Your dad. And who did you have to be to get his love? What was that? Something you weren't. So you weren't deserving from your childhood on. You've told yourself since you were a little girl that you don't deserve any of it. Because you didn't deserve to be loved by him because you weren't his. So can you understand that this belief will keep manifesting in your life unless you get a hold of it? You deserve whatever you're willing to work for. God dang it. Can I do this? What's your name? Annette. You work to be here. Will you keep working? The worst kind of success would be to achieve something and not be able to appreciate this. Do you know that there are people who live in countries where they can't gather in community like this? Do you know what a blessing it is to be in this space? You have earned your right to be here. What are you thinking? Because I can see in your eyes. Hey, stop that. Stop that. This negative loop will play in the back of your mind forever and ever unless you interrupt it with the truth. Annette, you've earned your right to be in this room. You've earned your right to be loved. No? You had the courage to speak up. You've earned your right to be loved. And you've earned the right to love people in return. Own this space. Own the fact that you're here. Because there are people in this room right now who feel the exact same way you do. And if you brush it aside, and if you give up on it, then you're teaching the people around you who are looking to you for leadership to do the same. Here's the deal. You will start to self-sabotage. Of course. You'll start to experience success and you will self-sabotage because you don't think you're deserving of the success that you've achieved. Right? I know, because I've done it too. You've got to get a hold of it right now. That doesn't mean going back home and falling into the same routine that you've been in. Whatever you're doing to numb, you're numbing yourself in some way, yeah? So you don't have to think about it, you gotta face it. And you know what? You are freaking ferocious, and you are capable of facing this stuff. Because I'm gonna challenge you right now with all the love in my heart, you have not done the work to get past this feeling of not enough that you got from when you were a little girl. And you got, what, 50 years? You want to spend the next 50 years dealing with the same crap? Because you will. Hey, if it was going to get you, it would have gotten you already. Does that make sense? Does that resonate with you? Hey, you're strong enough to do the work. When you come back here next year, so you're going to come back next year and you're going to be whatever level. Are you on Stewie's team? Holy crap. I'm going to challenge you to come back to this next year because all of these people are going to remember this conversation, and I'm going to challenge you to be in a different place, to be stronger and braver and bolder and so full of love for other people that you don't need to keep craving the love from him. Okay? And next year, there are going to be people who come up and talk to you and they're going to be like, oh my gosh, Annette, when you stood up and said those words, it gave me the courage to go to therapy. It gave me the courage to face those things. But if you don't face them, you don't get to blaze the trail for anybody else. You're strong enough. with a benediction of sorts. The greatest hope that I could have for this room is that you would believe and know that you are called for something more. I believe that each of us is given potential by our Creator. That is our gift from our Creator. And what we do with that potential is our gift back to the world. And the worst thing that I could think of is for Stacy, or Annette, or Stewie, or any of you to die with that potential locked inside of them. Because you were so worried about what other people thought, you couldn't live into your dreams. You were made for more. You were made to be more than you are today. You were made to dream bigger dreams. You were made to have the courage to keep stepping forward. You are called to something great, or you would not be sitting in this room. Do not squander what you have been given because you're afraid.